I have a show in a few days and I still haven't managed to memorize my lyrics. So I tried every trick I could find to finally learn them. And this is what really worked. The thing is that I'm having a hard time because, first of all, my lyrics are in English, but on a day-to-day basis, I speak French and I also speak Spanish sometimes. So it all kind of makes a mumble jumble in my head. Also, I used to remember things really easily when I was young, but now between age and the menopause has been awful for memory. I figured I needed techniques to counteract this, and I tried lots of things to hopefully finally memorize these lyrics. So the first technique that I kept seeing was to study the song, study the rhyming scheme, study the structure. And right off the bat, that seems kind of stupid because these are songs that I've written myself. So obviously I know the structure and obviously I know the rhyming scheme. I mean, I can look at them. I can look at my songs, but am I really gonna discover new things? Something I did without knowing, maybe? Nope. No, I mean, this is silly. I know these songs, I wrote them. So first technique is no go for me. Maybe it'll work for you if you're doing a cover, then maybe it's worth it, studying the structure and the rhyming scheme, etc. But for me, not very useful at all. Okay, second technique, write them again and again and again and again. I've been doing this for a little bit now. I have a whole stack of these sheets with my lyrics written on them. It's a pretty basic technique. I have a visual memory. I just write the lyrics and then I write them again. Living still some things. The one problem with this technique is that it hurts. Honestly, my wrist, you know, when I started to do this, I realized that I hadn't written in very, very long time. I mean, written by hand. Obviously, I write a lot, but I always write on a computer or on a phone now, but I hardly ever write with a pen and a paper. I can write a check, but I don't write for hours on end. I don't know how my kids do it at school. It's awful. What I've started doing recently is writing only the first line of each part of the verse or each part of the chorus. And then I draw lines for the rest so I can have like a visual thing. It goes faster, saves my wrist. And also it's visual, it's like a map and it works well with my brain. I'm pretty happy with this technique. It's worked well for me. I think it might work well for you too if you have a visual memory. That's the main thing. Technique number 3, listening on repeat. I noticed that the songs that I listen to on repeat, the ones that I really like, I end up knowing them by heart. And it's not really an effort. I've listened to them so many times, they end up living rent-free in my head. I figured for me that might be the best thing to do. And it's pretty good because I walk every day, so it makes my walking even more efficient. And I'm all about the efficiency. I have lots of things to do, so I might as well get 3 things done instead of 2. So now I walk my dog, I get a workout, and also I practice my lyrics. Kind of like that. Keep trying to be you. Having a dog has actually been really good for my mental health for this whole project actually. It's not only for learning lyrics, but it's also for the forced headspace that I get. It gives me some time outdoors. It just overall helps to clear my head when I'm spiraling. So it's been really good. And I get to see this every day, so. Another thing that I do is listen to the songs in my car. It's good because my attention is divided. I mean, obviously, my priority is always not to have an accident, but it's kind of stressful, and also I have part of my attention somewhere else. I'm pretty sure that's what's gonna happen the day of the concert. My attention will be pulled in one direction, and then I'll have to remember my lyrics. I've been listening to these songs on repeat for several weeks now, and it's working really well. There's still some bouts of time where I lose focus and I forget the lyrics, but most of the lyrics have become automatic. If I remember the beginning of the verse, then the whole rest of the verse just flows out, which means that I only have to really remember the beginning and the structure of the song, and it should be good. The only problem with this technique is that I might just hate these songs even before the concert, because I've been listening to them a little too much, I guess. I mean, I still like them. They're good songs, but, you know, after a while I might get sick of them, just like I get sick of any song. I'm reckless. I'm just playing Another technique that I found online was to make instrumentals of the songs and then listen to that and try to sing the lyrics to that and make sure that you can. That's obviously something I do every time we rehearse with the band. So I've been doing that every week, basically. It definitely helps. By itself, for me, I don't think it would have worked. It hasn't helped me memorize the lyrics. Listening to the songs with the lyrics, that helps. That makes it easier for, I don't know, something happens that the words come into my brain and they stick there. But if I'm listening without the lyrics, it's not really helping me memorize it. But it is a good way for me to check if I have the words memorized now. Another thing I've done, and that has worked, is practice in real life conditions. The day of the concert, I know I'm going to be stressed out. I know I'm going to be distracted by people that are around me, and I don't need any more distractions. So I've been practicing with the mic stand and in the right formation. So during rehearsals, we used to practice facing each other. Lately, we changed configurations so I could be facing the imaginary crowd. Next week we'll be practicing on the stage because the guitarist in my band, he's actually a farmer and he's actually built a stage on top of a trailer. The concert is going to be outdoors and the guitarist is going to drive his tractor with the trailer, with the stage on it and with all the instruments. It's kind of fun. And not only is it fun, but it's a good thing because we have the stage that we're going to be playing on, and so we're going to be able to practice on the stage, which is good for me because I haven't had too many concerts up until now, so practicing directly on the stage is going to be helpful for me. During rehearsals, we've been practicing not only the whole songs from beginning to end, but also the whole set, including how to tie some of the songs together and whatever I'm going to say in between some of the other songs. So the day of the concert, the only thing that's going to be new is the fact that there's the crowd. This will help with the lyrics too, because I feel like if I'm distracted, I'm going to forget the lyrics more. So another thing I've been doing is linking movements to the lyrics. It works for dance movements, obviously. I've been doing that when I rehearse the stage moves that I do. For example, in one of the songs I say, out of my head, I need out this prison. So I go, out of my head, I need out this prison. And the lyrics help me remember the gestures, and the gestures help me remember the lyrics, so it works both ways. This one is really a technique that has worked for me. And obviously it also works with instruments. I don't play instruments very often with the band, I mostly sing, but there is one song at the end where I play the piano during the chorus. Well, it's not a piano actually, it's an organ. And so I do just basic chords. And linking the words to the chords actually helps me remember the lyrics. Let me find an organ sound on this thing. There we go. I lay down to appease you, stay small to please you. And obviously I can do it with the music as well. I lay down to appease you, stay small to please you, pretend I don't need you, I hate myself to love you, terrified I'm like you, I don't like you. Okay, so today I'm testing a new technique, which is, I think they call it a mind palace. Basically, you make up goofy stories about different elements in the lyrics so that you can remember them better. I think this would make it unnecessarily complicated if I did it for the whole lyrics, especially since these are lyrics that I've written, so I already know the story. Now that I've heard them very many times, if I know the beginning of the verse, then it just flows right into the rest of the verse and it's not a problem. Where it does tend to be a problem is that I mix up verses, or I don't remember which verse comes after which chorus or that kind of thing. So I think it would be good if I used it just for the first line, or maybe even the first word or the first concept of the verse. Because otherwise I think it's just gonna make it unnecessarily complicated. I mean, there's already a story. If I add another story, then I'll have to remember the first story and the second and the lyrics. It's just, I don't think it'll work for me. But so if I take this song here, which is called Work, there's 4 parts in the first verse, and I know the 4 parts individually if I know the first word and I know the whole thing. But sometimes I get confused. So I'll think of a word that makes me think of what it is for that first part, and then I'll make a story with each of those words. Hopefully it'll be clearer when I do it. So the first part is, taken me so long to feel like I belong, why couldn't you do your job better? I think the word belong would be good. Then again, I'm not sure I could do that. How do I find a goofy story about belong? Then it's, keeps me from living, there's something missing, why couldn't you do your job better? I think I could do something missing. The third part of the verse is, doused it with booze and I drowned it with food and I made up excuses and passed out exhausted. Decades were wasted perfecting self-hatred and shame. If I remember the word booze, I'll remember the whole verse. And the fourth part is, crushed and confused, I compound the abuse. I'm embarrassed and hurt, laying there in the dirt. I'm playing the game, but they lied, there's no gain from the pain. And I think here, if I remember dirt, then I will remember this. So, this is hard. This is not as easy as this is really hard. Okay, I'm not good under pressure like this. I just have to forget that there's a camera looking at me and that I'm talking to myself in my living room, and I'll find some ideas, hopefully. So, belong. I guess I could work with the image of somebody grabbing somebody's arms. Keeps me from living. It could be, this is way too hard. I'm thinking that if I have the image in my head of somebody grabbing their arms because, you know, they belong or because they're taken, it's not gonna help me. I think in my head there's like images over here, and then there's concepts, and then words are just another thing. There's the image that's corresponding to the concept, and that's not even necessarily linked. And then from the concept you have different words in different languages, and even in the same language you have synonyms. So I don't think this is gonna be useful for how my brain works. This mind palace thing, I've tried it before actually. I mean, I've seen this in videos before, and it just seems so complicated. It really doesn't work for me. Maybe it works for you. Tell me in the comments if that's the case. But no, that's a no-go for me. I didn't even finish the first verse of one song. So last thing I want to do is to try and de-stress, because I think being stressed is not good for, well, it's not good for my mental health, obviously, but also it's not good for my focus. And also, stress makes sleep difficult. I mean, for me at least, whenever I'm stressed, I tend to get insomnia. And if I haven't slept well, then my memory isn't as good as it should be. But how to de-stress? For somebody like me that's very anxious, honestly, it's difficult. I could learn to meditate, but at this point, there's only 12 days left before the concert. So I don't think I'm gonna be improving my focus that much in 12 days. Also, I hate meditating. I mean, I really, really hate it. I've tried it several times and I can't do it. Walking I can do, yoga I can do, but meditating, sitting still, I can't do it. Over the years, I have found some techniques that do work to de-stress. There's two main ones. So the first one is to make sure that I know what's the worst that can happen. Going to the worst and giving the worst a name and an image and a feeling. That helps, because then I can debunk the myth. I mean, obviously, if I forget my lyrics on stage, I'm not gonna die. My family isn't gonna die. The world isn't gonna explode. Nothing really bad is gonna happen. So what is the worst that could happen? I could look ridiculous. I could, that's about it, actually. I could look ridiculous. So what? Who cares? Now that I know what the worst is, I can figure out how to deal with it. What do I do if I do forget my lyrics? I think the main thing I can do is just like pretend that it didn't happen. I do have one thing going for me, which is that the people that I'm going to be singing in front of, they're all French, and most French people don't speak English very well. I'm sorry if you're French, but you know how we are. Most of the people in the crowd are not going to understand what I'm saying anyway. So if I just sing whatever, like they're probably not gonna notice. When I watch footage from the rehearsals, you can tell I forget my lyrics because I'm like I do this embarrassed face and I'm like, oh my God, I forgot my lyrics. But if I just pretend that I didn't forget, if I just sing the first verse again, I don't think it's gonna matter. I'm pretty sure nobody will notice. And if they do notice and I do look ridiculous, then I can just laugh it off. It's not a big deal. So, I mean, I'm saying this right now and it seems obvious to me, but then sometimes I get in my own head and the gears start turning and I end up churning and churning and churning this fear. And so I have to, maybe I should write this down and look at it every day. Nope, not doing that. I got lyrics to learn, man. I have stuff to do.
Taking me so long, feel like I belong. Why couldn't you do your job?